Okie dokie, everybody. Good evening from Ottumwa once again. It's Bobby Harvey broadcasting live. And one day late today, we are going to do a Amtrak station stop live stream here at the station in downtown Ottumwa. Amtrak's California Zephyr is running about an hour behind schedule, about 50 minutes, an hour behind schedule. And we are waiting for the train here in downtown Ottumwa. It is a foggy evening, as you can see, kind of a foggy atmosphere. Which will be kind of nice when the train comes in. It should accentuate the headlights. See some pretty good headlight beams when the train comes in, hopefully. But the weather itself is actually very mild for this time of year. This is the beginning of winter, and usually it's, way down in the, 20s, 30s. We're in the upper 40s right now, and it is very calm. So it is pretty decent weather right now, which is why I decided to do an Amtrak station stop live stream this week instead of the winter trains and chat, because it's nice enough weather to be back down here on the platform. So welcome all of you that are joining in right now. We're going to go ahead and do a few shout outs here right before we get to the action tonight. Robert Bach was here a little early. Hopefully he's still watching. From Deadwood, South Dakota, he's watching right now. And speaking of Dakota, Dakota 3001 is also here, a regular viewer. A-Train let us know that number 5 is passing agency. That was at 7:33, so a couple minutes ago. So they are getting close, probably within the next 10-15 minutes or so, if not sooner. Mark is here. Belated Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you, Mark. And we'll talk about Christmas here as the stream goes on. Of course, Christmas is come and gone now, but it's a pretty good Christmas. And we'll talk more about that as the stream goes along tonight. James is here from Hamilton, Ohio, another one of my regular viewers. Welcome, James. Annette is also here. Welcome. And Richard is also here. Says, be careful, Amtrak Train 5 points west. And for those of you just joining in right now, Amtrak is on its way. We're going to be here probably within the next 10 minutes or so. Now, because of the fog, I could see the eastbound signals from here not too long ago, but I'm not sure I could see them now. I'll go down to the edge of the platform and see. Okay, I can still see the eastbound signals. Mark just popped in with a super chat. Thanks, Mark. Very generous of you. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. Thank you. So I can see the eastbound signals, so I'm hoping to see the westbound signals. Because of this fog, it's actually very surprising at how much you can't see even from close distances. The visibility is down pretty significantly. To give you an example, when I was crossing the Des Moines River, heading towards downtown, going across the Jefferson Street Viaduct, normally on a clear night you can see the lights, and right now the big Christmas light display on the Ottumwa High School. I came over the bridge and was coming down, already dropping down towards downtown, and you could see the bright LED lights on the new sporting complex, which is just adjacent to the high school, but I could not see the lights on the high school. They were on, but I had to get much closer to even see them through the fog. So even at night, you would think that lights would kind of cut through the fog a little more at nighttime, but they don't. And I was, at that point, I was already pretty close to the high school. I mean, less than probably a quarter mile, and I couldn't see it. So I was wondering when I was coming down the hill if I'd still be able to see the signals down here, because it's probably a similar distance if not further. But I can see the eastbound signals at the CTC Ottumwa, the crossovers just east of the station. I'd like to say they're just a tad closer, but I'm looking west, and Amtrak's on their way, but I can't see the signals, so I don't know if they're actually lit or if they're not lit yet. Okay, yeah, they are on. It's just very faint. I can just faintly see them in the fog. You guys might not be able to see them tonight. But you kind of have to be straight on with the tracks to see them. Amtrak has a clear at the ICNERRX. Now, speaking of the CPKC, of course, they are the current operator of the former Iowa Chicago and Eastern that BNSF crosses down there. They still call the interlocking the ICNERRX. CPKC, it's still referred to as Lawler. But that radio chatter that you hear right now is actually from the CPKC. It's a local train K82. It's doing some switching in the yard and stuff. That's really all the chatter that I've heard so far tonight. But yes, it is a very, pretty balmy for this time of year. You expect there to be snow on the ground and for it to be very cold, and it really isn't. I mean, it's chilly, but it's very mild for this time of year. So we're about a week into winter, officially, and it's very, very warm for this time of year. Upper 40s, very calm, but foggy. But obviously, it's been warm pretty much all week since the beginning of this week to now. It's been pretty mild. So unfortunately, all the snow that we had the past couple of weeks, pretty much the first half of December, we had a lot of snow. And it was looking good that we might get a white Christmas because of that, but it all melted off and got warm again. And obviously by Christmas Day, we had no snow except, a few patches of, snow that was, built up when they plowed the streets and stuff. Other than that, nothing. So we did not have a white Christmas this year. Well, our train is on its way. You can hear the crossing bells. Cannot really see the crossing lights. But Amtrak is on its way into the station. We are getting ready for it. Amtrak's Westbound California Zephyr. Pulling into the station here in Ottumwa, Iowa. It's about, give or take, about 40 minutes late. Train has arrived. And as you can see in the camera down there, the headlights are kind of accentuating the scene, kind of lighting it up. It is a very foggy, kind of a misty fog. Kind of something that you might expect to see on Halloween, not 2 days after Christmas. But here they are, California Zephyr here in Ottumwa. About, they're about 48 minutes, 47 minutes late. They're probably not going to dawdle too much in the station tonight. They are running a little behind schedule. Locomotives on the train tonight. We have two P42s, Phase 5 paint scheme 83 is our leader. Our trailing locomotive is number 33. We have 83 and 33 are the locomotives for tonight. Some passengers going by. Looks like they're getting off the train, going the long way around. Go ahead, pan back around now. Engine 33. Back at the station there. Well, as I suspected, they are not messing around tonight. That's the warning whistle. Time for everybody to get back on. Ottumwa is a fresh air stop. It's an extended stop because they changed crews here, conductors and engineers. So they allow the passengers to get off the train and stretch their legs, even if they are still continuing on past Ottumwa. Away we go. Lanes 83 and 33 on the front. We've got our Fuel Liner 2 baggage car, and here comes the normal winter consist for the California Zephyr. Transition sleeper. Sleepers are next. Superliner 1. They're both Superliner 1s. Running brake test is going to be performed now. There's the dining car. You can see people up there in the diner right now. There's the lounge car. Superliner 1 lounge car, and then the coaches. Normal coach. Coach baggage on the rear, both Superliner 1s. Conductor looking out, making sure the brake test was all good. Looks like it was. We got the green brake indicator lights on the side of the train, and away they go. California Zephyr now clear of the station platform here in Ottumwa. They disappear out into the fog, the misty fog, in a very mild Ottumwa, Iowa tonight. Very mild for this time of year. Upper 40s. You can see that misty fog kind of swishing around there in the breeze. It is very interesting weather for this time of year. And a little unfortunate as far as Christmas goes, because we're all hoping for a white Christmas, and we didn't get one. But if there's one thing you can't control in life, it's the winter and the weather in general. I have a feeling if it's like any previous winters that we've had in Iowa, it's kind of like that comes in like a lamb, goes out like a lion kind of thing, which they say that about March. But I think that's true with winter in general. It might be easy right now, but I have a feeling, once we get into January and February, it might be a different story. Now, it was not even 2 years ago that in January we had probably the biggest snowfall that I've ever seen in my entire life, at least in these parts. We had, within a week, we had 2 feet of snow, and that was interesting. I wasn't able to get out and get any video until a lot of it had passed.
Amtrak 83 West to dispatcher, good evening. We'd like to release track warrant number 730-7777.
Roger that, 730-77, this way for release, over.
Amtrak 83 West reports clear to limits of track warrant number 730-77 between CCC CP 2502 and CCC Ottumwa. Limits reported clear at 1950-1950. Over.
Understand AMTK 83 West reporting clear on track warrant 730-77 between CCC CP 2502 and CCC Ottumwa at 1950-1950. Is that correct, over?
After briefing, conductor Milton, engineer Beauchamp agrees that's correct. Time tonight 41 and 47. Over.
Wow.
Both engineer and conductor agree correct at 41 and 47. Is that correct, over?
That's also correct. Thank you very much, sir.
All right, thank you. You guys have a safe trip. Should be useful for us.
So as you heard, there are times in Ottumwa they pulled in at about said 6:41. It's actually 7:41. 7:41, and they left at 7:47. So that was definitely a little more abbreviated station stop than we're used to here. A lot of times they're in the station, at least 10 minutes, if not longer. That was a 6-minute stop. But if they keep doing that, and they're really not that far behind schedule. In fact, they departed 50 minutes behind schedule, which isn't even an hour. If they keep going the way they are, and they make, more abbreviated stops where they can, there is some padding built into the schedule so that if they don't fall too much further behind, they could very well, by the time they hit California, they could make up all of that time and be back to on time before they hit California. So hopefully that's the case. And they've already kind of made up a little time since Illinois. They were running about 50 to almost an hour late around Galesburg. And now they departed Ottumwa just 50 minutes behind schedule, so they've made up a little time. So kind of similar to our previous live stream, there's a lot of radio chatter on the CPKC. Sounds like the local train K82 is making a lot of, is actively switching down there. Earlier, they called the dispatcher to request that they wanted the signal at Quincy so they can make their moves. Must be having some... Now that's train 577.
Switch on the 577, we signal on station for you, over.
577. Pretty sure that is... oh. 577. Is that... oh, sorry about that. 577. Is that an oil train? I think it might be. But unfortunately, even on a normal night, we won't be able to see too much of the CPKC here. But especially tonight because it is foggy. And again, I really cannot see the signals from this vantage point. Kind of have to be straight on with the tracks. Well, I can still see the eastbound signal. And it is red for movements on Main 2. Now, westbound down here, I really can't see anything. I could earlier, so I wonder if the signals are out for westbound. Yeah, the signals just came on. You guys can't see them on your screen here, but I can if I'm pretty much straight on with it. The signal for main 1 here next to us, westbound, is on. It's red. I'm guessing that's because the 577 train is requested to get the light at Quincy to go back and forth. I don't know if they're actually leaving town or not. And the eastbound signals were lit, but now I can't really see them, so I don't know if that signal has gone to clear or if they have gone out as well. Again, it's very difficult to see what's going on with this fog. It might just be because of the misty fog dancing around that I may not be able to see the signals. I'm going to check again. It is very, very difficult to tell, but I think, I'm not sure, but I think the eastbound signal for Main 2 is green. I can barely make it out to the east, but I think it is green. So if that's the case, we might have an eastbound here coming pretty soon. But we'll see. We'll keep looking. Yeah, I think I can just faintly make out a green light down there, kind of where the signal's supposed to be. So and it was on a few minutes ago, and it was red. So I wonder if we've got a eastbound BNSF train coming here. Hope so. The signals are still lit to the west, but again, with this fog, you guys can't really see it. I can't see it unless I'm, pretty much straight on looking down the tracks. And the one signal that I can't even see the westbound signal for Main 2. I can only see the one for Main 1, which is the track closest to us, and it is red. But again, I don't know if those signals came on because of the CPKC 577 train moving around, and they're getting the light at Quincy, and that just activated the signals in the plant, or if it's because we have a BNSF train coming. It might be because yeah, I still see green down there because I'm pretty sure that there's something lined up for Main 2 going east. You can see some green through the fog, about where the signal is, so I'm guessing that that is something, which is good. I like to get some extra trains. So all this radio chatter that you're hearing right now, we really haven't heard much on the BNSF at all, except conversations surrounding Amtrak, which has already come and gone. For those of you just joining in, let's go ahead and back up the stream about 15-20 minutes. You'll be able to see Amtrak coming in and going. I usually let these go for an hour. It might be a little more abbreviated tonight just because it's a little later and the weather. Actually, tomorrow, speaking of the weather is going to change drastically tomorrow. In fact, they are actually talking about snow again tomorrow. It's going to be raining a good portion of the day because, again, it's still going to be very warm, but the temperature is going to take a nosedive tomorrow to the point where tomorrow night we might actually get some sort of a wintry mix or snow. I saw a graphic not too long ago on Facebook from one of the meteorologists, one of the TV stations around here, with estimated snowfall totals, and Ottumwa was in the 0 to 1 range for snow. So we could get tomorrow evening, believe it or not. It has been pretty balmy, pretty warm for this time of year the past week, which, is kind of ironically right around Christmas time when you'd like there to be snow, and we didn't get any because it got warm and melted all the snow. And now, right after Christmas, of course, it's going to get cold again, and we might get a dusting of snow tomorrow night. Now, so far, the snowfall totals that they've predicted from the storms that have come through have been pretty accurate, so we'll just have to wait and see. Now, a dusting of snow can actually be pretty photogenic if you're taking pictures and the snow is just fallen. Dusting of snow can actually make things look pretty decent, or not as good as a heavy snow with, full snow coverage, but still not bad. But yeah, this fog really does make for some interesting pictures, especially at nighttime. All right, I'm going to take a look at the signals once more. Time will tell, but I really think that that signal is green for eastbounds on Main 2. Again, time will tell. The dispatcher a lot of times will line up movements, at least in Ottumwa from my experience in the past. Before CTC was extended slightly east to that new crossover, which it's only been about, well, I don't know, year and a half or so they've had that cut in. But anyways, you would have CTC signaling to the west down at the diamond with the Iceni, which we're kind of looking that way right now. And when the signal would turn green down there for a westbound movement, from the time that happened to the time the train would actually come through, it would usually be anywhere between, 20, 15, 20, sometimes even 30 minutes before the train would actually show up. But of course, if you're rail fanning and you come down here and you see a green signal and you haven't been down here watching things, get in position for a train, because something's lined up. You have no idea how soon it'll arrive, so you need to get ready as soon as possible to get your pictures or to see the train, whatever you want to do. It sounds like there's something moving on the CPKC now. Now they were calling out locomotive numbers, and I'm not fully fluent in the CP and the KCS numberings. I know some of them, but I don't have a lot of them memorized. They were calling out a 2102 locomotive. And I don't know what the 2100s are. Those GP38s maybe? GP38-2, something, GP40s? I'm guessing that's what they are. I know the 8000s and the 9000s are the newer, like GE engines, AC4400s, which are some of the older ones, but lower numbers, like yeah, 2102. So I don't know what that engine is, but I'm guessing it's a GP38 of some kind. Now, last time we did a stream, last week, we did one of the winter trains in chat, which clearly when the weather turns south again and gets cold, I will go back to doing those streams. I've only done a couple so far. I figured since the weather is so nice, might as well come back out on the platform again and do a station stop, Amtrak station stop stream. And that's kind of going to be the plan, throughout winter, do the winter trains in chat when normal winter weather, cold and snow, etc. Which my original plan was to start those streams down here on the platform and see Amtrak, and then go to the car and do the rest of the stream in the car and drive around to whatever trains are coming. That's still my plan, but I'm also okay with starting the stream in the car and staying in the car, which we've actually done that the past 2 times we've done those streams so far. But just like today, if the weather is unusually warm on the days that I want to do a stream, I will come down here and just get Amtrak, full station stop, and then just kind of hang out down here for the stream. It's easier to do, obviously, when the weather is nicer. If it's not nice, it could get really cold down here, and it would also drain my phone battery. I wouldn't be able to do the whole stream on battery, so when I'm doing them in the car, I can just have the phone plugged in. Don't have to worry about that. And obviously in the summer months, it's not, don't have to worry about it because it's not cold and the battery doesn't have to work as hard to keep running. So, for those of you just joining us now, again, Amtrak has already come and gone, but go ahead and back up the stream and you guys can watch it come in and leave, and then maybe jump back in live and see what we're doing here. We are waiting for a potential eastbound BNSF freight. I'm pretty sure, I can't really tell because of the fog, misty fog, as we can see, it's kind of blowing around here. But I do believe there is an eastbound train coming on the BNSF. From what I can see through the fog, to our east, which is behind us in this view, Looks like the signal for main 2, which is the track farthest away from us right now, sounds like there is, or it looks like rather, there is something lined up going east from what I can see. It's just very faint. And that's what we're waiting on now. We are also hearing on the radio a lot of chatter on the CPKC. The local train K82 is working down there, and there's a 577 train also. But again, from this vantage point, we will not be able to see pretty much anything on the CPKC because it is so foggy. And misty. I don't know if both trains are doing switching down there. They might be. Kind of sounds like it. Zoom out a little bit here. Yeah, 21. There's saying 2103 and 2102. Are there two sequentially numbered locomotives working down there right now? And what are those? If they're CP engines, what are those? The 2100s. I'm guessing those are GP38s. Because obviously that is not a train number, because CPKC trains are typically 3-digit numbers, or a combination of characters, 3 characters with the locals, for example. The one that runs around here is K82. It was formerly B82 before the trains were renumbered, right before the CPKC merger was finalized. Yeah, we got a lot of people tuning in right now. A-Train just said, this was about, it's 8:07, that was about 3 minutes ago, that he says he hears a westbound passing agency. So maybe we'll get 2 more trains in our stream tonight. I'm pretty sure the signal to our east, which is behind us, is green for an eastbound. Let me check the westbound signals and see what I can see now again. Well, the signal is still lit, but the funny thing is, I can only see one signal aspect, and it's red. So I'm wondering if the top signal aspect is indeed clear, and we just can't really see it. Can't really make out the green as much in this fog as you can the red. So I'm wondering if we do have a westbound train coming now. And if that's the case, might be interesting. If we've got an eastbound coming, we might have 2 trains coming at the same time. And of course, we are on the north side of the tracks. I don't think they really want anybody out on the middle platform anymore, because Amtrak doesn't even stop on that platform anymore. Since the crossover got put in to the east and to the west, there's a new crossover about 3 miles west of here for trains to going east to switch from 2 to 1 and back from 1 to 2. Going west, it's the opposite. You'll be able to switch from 2 to 1 and then back to 1 to 2. Since BNSF put in those crossovers, Amtrak comes in on main 1 every single time they do their station work, and the plan is they are going to take out the middle platform. The original plan was they were going to refurbish both platforms. Somewhere along the line that got changed to just refurbishing one platform and removing the other one. So that's what they're going to do. And I think they might even straighten out the track a little bit once that platform is removed. And it'll just be a single platform. There will not be 2 platforms, and Amtrak will exclusively use this platform, come in on main 1 every time they do their station work, whether they're going east or west. That's similar to what they do at other stations, such as Fort Madison on the Southwest Chief route. The renovated station platform that is on the old station that they renovated for Amtrak use in downtown Fort Madison. Its platform is just for Main 1 on BNSF's Transcon, the Chillicothe subdivision. So Amtrak has to come in on Main 1 every time at that station as well. But again, that's a similar line. It's a CTC line, so the dispatcher can switch the trains from one track to another for whatever he needs to do to keep the trains rolling. And since it's very close to a terminal in Fort Madison, a very busy division point, probably pretty easy to get Amtrak over there because all the freight trains nearby are either stopped or going to stop to change crews. It's probably a lot easier to squeeze Amtrak in and out on that track at all times. But the same thing happens here in Ottumwa. Again, we are waiting for potentially 2 trains. I'm going to check the westbound signal again and see if I can make out a clear. It was very difficult to see. I really can't see the eastbound signals at all right now. They were lit, so I don't know if that means that, I think this fog is actually getting thicker as the stream rolls on. So, it's getting very hard to see the signals in the distance. Normally, on a clear night, you can see them very well at nighttime. Obviously, the visibility, it's not even a mile, or maybe a little over a mile to our west for... sirens. Maybe not even a mile to our west, probably close to a mile. And to our east, it's maybe, I don't know, maybe a half mile, 3/4 of a mile, so it's not very far. Well, we've got, the cops are going somewhere pretty quick. Where they're going. Well, I'm going to pan the camera. You might be able to see them cross the tracks down here. The water plant. I don't know. With this fog, you might not be able to see them. Sounds like they're heading that way anyways. Maybe not. Well. Yeah, the police. The police station is actually just off to our left in this view. Pan over here really quick before our potential trains show up. Well, wait a minute. This kind of sound like you might be crossing now. No, still don't see anything. Maybe he got on the viaduct. Anyways, zoom out here real quick, and there's the station in the background, and you can kind of see it there. You can kind of see the silhouetted outline of the steam locomotive that is in the Ballingall Park, the front of the station here in Ottumwa, or back, depending on which way you're talking about. Obviously, it's the back of the station in regards to the railroad. The rest of the world, it's the front of the station. There's a little park out there, and in the park is an old CB&Q steam locomotive. That's Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy 3001. Is an old 464 Hudson steam locomotive. Really neat engine. And there are a few of those preserved here in the Midwest. There's one in Burlington, there's one in Galesburg, and there is also one at the Illinois Railway Museum. I don't know if there are any others preserved of that class or not, but there's at least 4. And none of them are operational right now. Probably the only one that could potentially be restored to operation is the one at the Illinois Railway Museum. I don't know. They're all probably in pretty shabby shape as far as operational-wise goes. The one here in Ottumwa is pretty good-looking cosmetically. It was restored cosmetically about 20 years ago. It's still holding up pretty good. But obviously, you know, a cosmetic restoration, you'd have to break up a lot of paint and really, you know, shake things out to even think about restoring one to operating condition. But it would be neat to see one of those engines of that class running someday. Now, my theories on a eastbound freight train have been proven correct. In fact, I can see the kind of menacing looking headlights cutting through the fog right now. I say that because usually at night you have a very bright glow of a headlight. Tonight, it's not as, it doesn't glow quite as much, and you can see all three headlights coming towards you down there without a whole lot of glare. It does look a little spooky coming towards you, and I can't tell. Yeah, that train is on Main 2, so okay. So what I could see through the fog of a clear signal for an eastbound proved correct. And it is coming right now through the fog towards us. This is a BNSF freight train. I do not know what type of freight train it is. We will have to just wait and see. And according to A-Train, there is a westbound train going through Agency, so might be able to get them as well. But with this situation here in Ottumwa, double track, hopefully this train gets through before the westbound. Because obviously, since I'm on the north side of the tracks and I'm not on the middle platform, and they probably don't want you to be out there anymore because they're going to remove it, you just have to hope that one train doesn't block the other one. Either way, though, you might be able to see the head end of this train, if nothing else, before the westbound shows up. But I will definitely be watching my back, because with this fog, it also absorbs sound. So the train is coming, and this is a quiet zone here in Ottumwa, so it already is pretty quiet, but you really can't hear the train that much yet. So here we go. 103 people watching right now. Welcome, everybody. Amtrak is come and gone, but we've got a couple of freight trains coming to round out our action for tonight. Here comes the first, an eastbound, kind of a slow-moving train, so I have no idea what this could be. You're going to find out momentarily as it approaches the station very slowly. Are they even still moving? They are going very slow. I have no idea what this could be. We'll have to find out. Don't know if the local has gone through yet. Maybe that's what it is. Anyways, we will have to find out. Here they come. The eastbound BNSF freight train here in Ottumwa. Decent rumbling on this train. Wonder if this... Yep, have to see what it is. Here it comes. Wow, how about that? Canadian national leaders, some Santa Fe war bonnets in there. Wow. I don't know what this train is, but that was special. That was pretty cool. Wonder if this is the Lingale train. Either the Lingale or the Des Moines to Galesburg train. Very cool. there's a lot of Cargill tankers on here, but I do not think this is the local. But it kind of looked like it with all the engines up front, and the gondolas and stuff. Maybe this is just a longer local train, but man, that was a great lashup. I saw the engines coming, and it looked like a GE engine, and it had a 2000 number. And I'm like, there are no BNSF engines that are numbered in the 2000s that are GEVOs, and Canadian National engines. Not just one, but two. That was pretty neat. Yeah, I wonder if this is the local. Because we got a lot of short Cargill tankers, which is the typical stuff that you would see on that train. Yeah, I think this is the local. Yeah, here comes the end. Yep. Well, there they go. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that that definitely was. Yeah, and as you can just hear on the radio, the Westbound that A-Train was talking about, sounds like they are getting close to Ottumwa. The dispatcher's telling them to roll up to the signals to take a look, which means that the local crossed from Main 1 to 2, which is what they always did down here at Ottumwa in years past. More recently, they've started running it through the station on Main 1 and then crossing over at the new crossover. But I wonder, probably they didn't do that this time because maybe because of Amtrak or another train. But yeah, that was quite the lash-up. I kind of wish that I had my real video camera down here to get that. But we got it on the stream at least. So Canadian National leaders, we had two, if I remember correctly, we had two Canadian National locomotives leading. A BNSF, I'm pretty sure it was an SD60M, was the third engine. And then we had two war bonnet former Santa Fe locomotives. That was something else. And as far as the stream goes, we're breaking records right here with concurrent viewership. It jumped up to almost 150 at one point. Thank you, everybody. Really appreciate you guys watching tonight here on this foggy Saturday evening here in Ottumwa. Now, for those of you that have not watched my streams before, I typically do them on Friday nights nowadays. But last night, it was kind of funny, but there was kind of a I didn't time things very well. I left the house, and usually I can get down here a decent amount of time before Amtrak gets here because they're typically running a little late. And even if they're running on time, you know, if I get down here at about, 6:30, 6:40, I have about, 10, 15 minutes at least before the train shows up. Well, they were running right on time yesterday. I mean, right on time. I got down here, it was about 6:40, and the train was running on time. I came around the corner. I didn't have enough time to set up my stream beforehand, so I could just, hit go live. I didn't have time to do that yesterday, so I was coming around the corner here on the platform, and I still had to set up the live stream and everything. And as soon as I rounded the corner and getting ready to set up, here comes Amtrak. And so I'm like, well, I'm not going to have time to really get the stream set up before Amtrak's been here and is ready to leave. So I just went ahead and just abandoned doing a live stream yesterday. And at that point, I just told you guys that we were going to do a stream next week. But today, I actually got quite a bit of work done at the house. We got all of our Christmas decorations down. Christmas lights and everything inside the house, and so you feel really accomplished when you can do that, especially in just one day. And so I'm like, well, you know what? Got some time. The train's running a little late, so I'll just go ahead and see about doing a live stream tonight. So here we are. So for those of you that are just joining me, that have new viewers maybe, I typically do these streams usually weekly, but I usually do them on Friday nights now. Occasionally, I mean, when I started doing these streams earlier this year, and I've done live streams for a couple of years now, but this is really the first time I've really concurrently every week or so done a stream for pretty much the whole year. I started doing these streams this year on Sundays, and then I found out it was better to do them on Saturdays, and then more recently determined it's even better to do them on Friday. Kind of a nice lead into the weekend to do them on Friday nights. And then next day you got the whole weekend ahead of you. But it's still not bad to do them on Saturday, because do it on Saturday, you still have half the weekend after that. Kind of level things out here, and before our next train comes, I'm gonna hop back in the chat really quick and just acknowledge some of the comments from earlier. Everybody's saying goodbye to the Amtrak 5, which that was a little while ago. That was, about 7:47. It's been about, whoops. Watch always gets hit. I always push the 24-hour button accidentally, which that's, railroad time, but still like seeing AM and PM. It was, about 40 minutes ago now, 50 minutes ago. Back further through the posts here. Now, Dakota said, I was talking about earlier the the theory or the wives' tale in about March as far as winter weather goes. If it comes in like a lion, it goes out like a lamb, and vice versa. I think that's really true about winter in general. Like, if it's easy going at first, you're gonna be made to pay for that later with heavy winter weather. I mean, that's always what you expect anyways. Now, last winter, 2024, 2025, it really was easy as far as winter weather goes. I mean, we really didn't get, we got some snow, but it really wasn't that significant. I mean, we really didn't get a whole lot of storms, and we just didn't get a whole lot. I mean, I think it was still cold, but we just did not get a whole lot of snow last year. Now, the year before, the season before that, 2023-24, we got pretty much all the snow we got for the year in that series of storms, that 1 week in the middle of January of 2024. And we got 2 feet of snow within just a few days. And that was pretty much most of the snow we got that season. So we have already gotten, I'm pretty sure we've gotten more snow this season before winter, a few weeks before winter, than we got most of the season last season. So if that's any indicator as to how winter is going to go, we're definitely going to get more storms. So these nicer days, this nicer weather right now, it's not going to last. It's going to get snowy again and cold. So when that happens, I will go back to doing my winter trains and chat live streams from the car, or half and half, seeing Amtrak here on the platform and then going to the car and seeing what else we can see after that. Next week, for example, it's going to be back in the upper 20s, lower 30s, so we'll definitely be doing a winter trains and chat live stream next week. As you can see, the fog is really starting to get more and more thick, and I can hear the crossing gate bells for this westbound train. I really can't see the crossing lights. I kind of can if I lean over towards the platform, but yeah, definitely foggy out here, but it really does make things look pretty nice for video. Really more dramatic lighting. So here comes our next train, another BNSF freight train heading west here in the station platform here in Ottumwa. Even things out here. Here they go. Let's see if this train is as good as the last one. A train is a train. We'll take whatever we can get. It's been a pretty good night tonight. Some westbound empty coal cars on this unit coal train going back to Wyoming, led by a pair of SD70 ACE diesels. And that coal train, empty coal train heading west, is now clear of the station here in Ottumwa. Mr. J Mall 12 asks if the SD70 ACEs are standard power for coal trains. Well, definitely around here they are one of the standard locomotives that you will see on most coal trains by far. BNSF has, well, I like to say they have like 500, if not more, SD70 ACEs, so they're pretty common. See them a lot around here. BNSF also has many of the GE Evolution locomotives. ES44ACs, ES44DCs, ES44C4s, ET44C4s, ET44ACs. They have pretty much every variant of GEVO locomotives that have come out in the past, 20 years. And you'll see a lot of those on coal trains too, the ES44ACs. See them a lot. And they have, BNSF has well over 1,000, if not more. Just ES44ACs, I'm pretty sure. They have over 1,000 of them. Altogether, probably, upwards of 2,000 or 3,000 GEVO locomotives. You'll see those a lot around here too. But the SD70ACs are definitely a staple in these parts. Well, the fog is definitely getting more thick, and we're probably about done tonight. I'm going to go through the chat a little more here before we wrap up. We had Matthew Bernstein was here from Olathe, Kansas, and we had that's the train we just saw clearing up their warrant. As they leave track warrant control and they get on the CTC signaling, and that's going to take them all the way about 20 miles west of here to Halpin, which is on the other side of Albia. It's a stretch of CTC signaling, and then they go back to track warrant control, kind of off and on from there to Creston and beyond. Anyways, I'm going to go back through some of the chat here. Before we say goodbye tonight, Middle Fru, hope I'm pronouncing that right. He said he's tuning in now from a city with a similar name, Ottawa, Canada. Cheers. Welcome. And yeah, whenever, well, me at least, whenever I see Ottawa mentioned, I kind of do a double take because it looks like Ottumwa to me. Very, very close spellings and pronunciation. You have to be on your toes, because you hear one and you think it's the other one. In fact, some people who don't know Ottumwa pronounce it very interestingly, like Ottumwa, which is not. It's Ottumwa. It's like a low, like a short A sound, Ottumwa. Some people pronounce it Ottumwa. Some people pronounce it Ottumwa, or like some people say Ottawa, like Ottawa, Canada, but it is Ottumwa. It is a Native American name. It means it roughly translates land of rippling waters. I'm sure Ottawa is also a Native American name as well, most likely, the way it sounds. Okay, we're going back through some of the chat here. Let's see, where was I? Yeah, and then we were trying to make out the signals. Gene U7U, or Juan U7U, said sometimes these lives are much more entertaining than what's on TV. Yeah, they can be, actually. Sometimes there's not a whole lot of entertaining stuff going on TV. So, yeah, for us rail fans, this is a lot more entertaining at times. Hagen P. Rail Fans was here. Says howdy.
All right, I know you guys are super heavy. If I run you through the siding at Blakesburg, instead of stopping you to get the south switch, is that going to affect you at all?
Yeah, we're hearing more talk on the CPKC, more trains, more train activity down there.
Which is line normal.
And then we were talking about that interesting lash-up that we saw on the eastbound local train 664, which I don't know if... I remember hearing this somewhere. Since it's the weekend, I don't know if they always run with the 664 symbol. Sometimes they run it as a manifest.
Is that going to hurt you at all, either of them?
Sometimes the 664 runs on the weekend as a EDY Gale train, normal manifest, but I don't know if they do that every weekend or if it's just, you know, some weekends. So I always just consider it the local train because that's pretty much what it is. But it was a lot longer than it normally is. There were more hopper cars and gondolas.
I got track work number 1027-1027, December 27, 2025 to the KCS 4829, 429 South of CCH out of Ottumwa. Check line 2 proceed from South of CCH out of Ottumwa, 2 South of CCH, sided switch Moravia on main track. Check line 20, get prepared to stop at the bar.
Yeah, that is a CPKC train going south right now. We can hear on the radio.
Track work number 1027-1027, toll lines check 2, line was 220 JXJ.
Train will not be coming through here.
Alright, board out 1027-1027, not active upon, got the wrong user in there.
Yeah, we have Gene I7E4R. He also said, never realized until I can see a train live just how big some of the freight train cars are. And yeah, they are, especially if you're a viewer from overseas, like from Europe. The trains are very different. They don't have as heavy of a loading gauge in Europe as we do here in the States and North America as a whole, and also South America. Wow. They're sending 2 trains out at the same time on the CPKC, it sounds like.
Check line 20 to very stop at phone switch until none be normal position south of CCH side switch Blacksburg. Check line number 1028-1028, toll lines check 2 line was 220
So I wonder if, wonder how that's going to work. Because clearly it's a single track line. It can only send 1 train at a time, but they gave 2 trains warrants. So I don't know. Maybe that 1 train was further down the line already. It's hard to tell, but they gave him a warrant to Moravia, so, I don't know. Interesting.
That one number 1028-1028, toll lines check 2 line was 220 okay, 2046 046 X-Ray. That's all correct. Alright, here we go. I'm going to take off, everybody is clear, 577.
Alright, so it sounds like 577 is going to leave. And a lot of chatter on the CPKC tonight. It sounds like they've got 2 trains going south, and then 577, which is going north. And they've got a K82 mixed in there somewhere. So, I mean, it's very busy right now. They could potentially have 4 trains in there right now. But anyways, continuing on with the conversation on the differences of trains. American trains, they're a lot bigger than the trains that you see overseas. I mean, they all typically run on the same gauge track, standard gauge. Most of them do. It's more common to see other gauges in different countries. And obviously, even here in America, we still have some narrow gauge trains. They're not very common. They're mostly just excursion trains and, you know, some other like other railroads that maybe don't connect to the national system. Most of our trains in America run on standard gauge, and so do other trains around the world. But yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and turn the scanner off because it's kind of hard to get a word in edgewise, and we're about done here anyways. So, but anyways, even though the gauge is the same, the loading gauge for trains overseas is a lot lighter than here in America. So the trains are smaller and they're not as heavy, and they're also typically shorter than what you would see here in North America, South America, and Australia, for example. A lot of the trains in Australia are very big and heavy, like what you would see here as well. Not as many. I mean, there are a lot more lighter trains in Australia, but there are also some very heavy ones too, even heavier than the ones you'd see here in the U.S. They run a lot of iron ore trains out there in the middle of Australia that are miles long, have like tons of engines on the front of them, and those trains are huge. I mean, they're just as big as the ones we have here in the U.S. A lot of the same types of locomotives you see here in the U.S., you will see in Australia running freight trains. And there are also many other countries that have locomotives that are American designs or inspired by American designs that maybe are built from American manufacturers or from their plans and assembled overseas. But yeah, American trains are some of the biggest trains that you will see in the world. They're not may not be as fast as other trains, but definitely our freight network here in North America is really the envy of the world. We have a very, very good freight network, better than any other country, really, as far as freight goes. Now, passenger, it's kind of reversed. Americans are envious of the passenger systems that are in other countries. But the irony is that it wasn't always that way. I mean, we had a lot of passenger trains. Then Americans got more interested in driving and flying, so a lot of the passenger trains disappeared. And part of why Amtrak was created was to alleviate the railroads from providing passenger service, and the U.S. government kind of took over passenger trains. That's why Amtrak was formed, to prevent the remaining passenger trains from disappearing. There was kind of an uproar that might actually happen because railroads were discontinuing trains left and right. And there was this big worry that all passenger trains would disappear someday. So the government stepped in and created Amtrak, nationalized the passenger system, and over 50 years later, Amtrak is still rolling along. And actually, they broke a ridership record last fiscal year. Most passengers ever hauled by Amtrak. It's somewhere around 35 million. So Amtrak doesn't always receive the best reviews, and definitely it's a lot of times it is a far cry from what the railroads used to provide, but it's all we've got. And considering what Amtrak does, running hundreds of passenger trains nationwide every day, they do a pretty good job. You compare that to Via Rail Canada up north. Everybody says that Via Rail does a better job of running their trains, but there are so much fewer trains. I was looking at the transit docks, the site where you can see the status of trains in America and also in Canada. Amtrak, there were over 100 active trains on the Via Rail system in Canada. there were about 20 active trains, and that is an incredible difference in the amount of trains. I mean, there aren't as many trains as there used to be passenger-wise in America, but there still are. You still have quite a few options. Over 500 different cities you can go to on the train, which is way more than you can go on if you're flying, for example. I mean, there's no way you could go to 500 different potential destinations on a plane. Probably less than, most airlines, probably less than 50 or 60 different destinations. So the train is a lot more versatile in that respect too. It's not as fast, obviously, but you can go many more places on the train than you can flying. And also, obviously, there's not near as many trains as there are flights. There's thousands of flights every day in America, as opposed to just a little over 100 trains a day. But our system is still, pretty decent for what we have. And it's all we got. So for the cards that Amtrak has dealt, and there's also a lot of, politics involved with Amtrak, and it's unfortunate that, we have to politicize, whether to fund passenger rail or not. It's kind of the same struggle that mass transit has too, whether to fund those systems or not. And I think it is important that we do those things. Just as important as funding the highways and the airports and all the other things. You need to have a balanced transportation network, which includes, decent funding for railroads and mass transit, whether it's, bus lines, rail lines, whatever. So it's unfortunate that Amtrak can be, at times, kind of a political football. And as a result, a lot of times, a lot of years, nothing really changes and nothing really improves. But the good thing is that Amtrak has still managed to get funding every year, even when administrations have proposed zeroing it out. I mean, Amtrak will always, has always gotten funding, even in those, dark patches. And we hope that continues, and I think it will. Things are actually looking up at Amtrak in a lot of different ways. So always be positive. I've always been a huge Amtrak fan, and I will continue to be so. Amtrak's not perfect, but again, it's all we got here in America. So I will always take a glass half full approach when I think of Amtrak and what it does. And again, for what they do, they're doing a pretty good job. So. Okay, so we've been here for almost an hour and a half now. We're going to go ahead and wrap things up, getting close to 9 o'clock. We've been here for, again, almost 90 minutes now. We've seen 3 trains, been a pretty good night. We've seen Amtrak and 2 freight trains, normal BNSF Westbound, and a not so normal BNSF local going east with a pair of Canadian National engines on the front. A couple of Santa Fe war bonnets thrown in the mix too. That was pretty cool. And it's been an unusual foggy and warmer night, but I can kind of feel it getting a little more chilly now, as the fog is definitely a little more thick than it was when we started the stream. So with that, we are going to go ahead and begin to wrap things up for the evening. I'd like to thank everybody that is tuned in tonight, watching. Got a few more comments I'd like to go through here. Yeah. Down Southern Railroading says they've enjoyed the stream and thanks for sharing. You're welcome. Robert Bach comments that he actually used to dispatch for Canadian Pacific. And kind of the scenario that we heard on the radio earlier about 2 trains getting warrants at the same time. Said that was called radio blocking. And I've actually heard of this. He says run 2 trains, and the first train reports to the second train where it's complete by. And so that's kind of how you keep them both going. And I suppose doing it that way, they don't have to continually get new warrants and void the old ones and do all that, which would be kind of cumbersome. That's interesting, and I have heard about that before. CPKC is a lot busier. I mean, they've got a lot more trains running on the old Milwaukee through here now Canadian Pacific or even the IC&E and DM&E did. I mean, back then, in the days of CP before the merger, it'd be about 4 or 5 trains a day. Now there's probably more than double that. I'd like to say probably 10 or 12 now. Business is looking pretty good on the CPKC, and it's nice because, you know, with precision scheduled railroading and stuff, there's less trains on the BNSF than there used to be, so it kind of evens things out. It's nice to have a town where you have 2 railroads. Whenever one railroad isn't active, there's usually something going on the other one. So there's always something going on here in Ottumwa. You can hear one of those trains leaving now. Timothy is here, and he said he's tuning in from southeastern Massachusetts. Missed Amtrak Live, but he caught both the freights. Eugene is here. Says Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy New Year to you. Thank you for watching. And Jackson A asking if freight trains run. Yep, we saw a couple of freight trains, and as far as Amtrak goes, they came through, you know, about an hour ago now. So anybody just tuning in, just go ahead and back up the stream. You can watch all the action that we saw tonight. It's pretty good. So with that, we are going to go ahead and sign off for the evening. It's been pretty good. Glad I went ahead and did a stream tonight instead of waiting till next week. This will probably might be the last Amtrak station stop live stream I do for a while. Next week, we're going to go back to our winter trains and chat format because it is going to get cold again. But again, I might do half the stream out here to get Amtrak and then go back to the car. We'll see how it goes. That was my original idea for that format, so we will play that by ear. But we will go ahead and plan on that next Friday, hopefully next Friday. If for some reason that doesn't work out, we might try Saturday, but most likely it will be next Friday, which will be January 2nd of 2026. Next time I do a live stream, it will be a new year. So with that, we are going to say so long for tonight, and we will see you guys next week in a new year. So if I don't talk to you guys before then, everybody have a happy and safe New Year's Eve, and Happy New Year 2026. We will see you all next time, and next Friday, tentatively. I'll let you guys know. So with that, so long, everyone. Thank you all for watching. We had a lot of you watching tonight, about 150 at one point, so I really appreciate that. I enjoy doing these streams, and plan on continuing them as long as I can throughout the winter. So again, it's Bobby Harvey here in Ottumwa saying so long for tonight, and we will see you next time. And we will see you next year. So long, everyone.